All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Dew Point on this very nippy winter's day. Welcome to everyone who's tuned in to our live stream around South Africa. We have got a development seminar this morning called Simple as That. And I'm going to enjoy giving this presentation because I'll delve in very quickly into my history, my working history. I got out of school and was creatively inclined, did art at school, wasn't sure whether to do engineering or architecture, and as a gap year decided to do digital design instead. Those were the days when digital was new. The internet was new. You still had the noisy modem on your table. And anyway, that's how I got involved in the design industry. So my trade is actually design. I'm a designer by trade. I then evolved into a creative director when I started my own business. And for 20 years of being a designer, I was often tasked with simplifying things. So you think about when you go visit a website can be extremely complicated, right? As a designer, to be a successful designer in the digital space was about simplifying things. You would use design and creativity to simplify very complex subjects. And so the development seminar that I'm going to be giving this morning is, for lack of better words, close to my heart because I enjoy simplifying things. There is a lot of power in the ability to simplify a complex topic, right? And that's really what this dev seminar is all about. So there's a saying in the English language that says, you can't see the wood for the trees. Does anyone know what that means? It's quite a bizarre phrase, right? But what it means is that when you look at the forest, you can be overwhelmed by the amount of trees and the leaves and everything that goes with the forest, and you get to miss what is fundamental about that forest, right? So that's what the saying's about. It's about being confused or being taken aback by something that's fairly complex, that you miss the fundamental aspect of whatever that is. And we can create this analogy with dew point in mind. So if you think about dew point, let's have a look. Let's take a closer look of what the dew point forest looks like. Are you ready? Website. We've got about 40 pages on our website. Our mobile app has got about 25 different views. We've got a YouTube site that's got nearly 500 videos on it. We've got Throwdown Thursday, Third Degree Thursday, Tell All Tuesday. We've got all these XP quests. We've got all these conferences that we do around the year annually. We've got Teamworks meetings, Generators meetings. We've got different ranks in our XP program. We've got our Path to Success with 3+2. And we've got all these qualifying rules in our business. And that's just to name a few of the different aspects of the dew point business. Overwhelming, isn't it? Imagine being a brand new person. And Rob says, go visit our YouTube website, and you see there's 500 videos on the YouTube website. So what this presentation is about distilling dew point into a single fundamental activity, right? So we can throw all of that away. You don't have to worry about all that stuff. Don't worry about it. Forget about all of it. Because you can make dew point, the business of dew point, very simple. What lies at the heart of dew point? What is the most important thing about dew point? You connecting people. Without this business does not exist, right? And often for new people, when a brand new person gets excited about our intro presentation and what's on offer at dew point, the first thing I say to them, I say, don't worry about anything else. Your only task in the next week or two is just to find some people that you can connect to this business. That's it. If you cannot do that, quit. There is no point in going further if you cannot connect 1, 2, or 3 people to this business. And so it becomes very easy to distill our business into exactly this activity. The ability to prospect, the ability to connect people to this business, right? Simple as that. And it applies to everybody. So like I said, to a brand new wealth engineer, to experienced wealth engineers, right? People like Rena and Donnie and Patrick and Pumi that have been in this business since the day we launched. So 2 years, 3 months, or whatever it is. They are doing exactly the same thing that you will task to a brand new wealth engineer that's been in the business for 5 minutes. And even when people get to rank 20 and rank 25 and perhaps to rank 28 in 10, 15 years' time, they will still be doing the same thing, right? Whether you rank 0, whether you rank 12, anyone can do it. That is the point. Anyone can do the connecting and the prospecting. So often in our intro presentation, we've got a line there as a benefit that says, the business is accessible to everybody. We don't care about your qualifications, right? We don't care about your experience. Because the simplicity of this business is the ability to go out and speak to people, nothing more than that. And so the business does become accessible to everybody. That's why when people come to me with excuses, I say, no. I'm very willing to listen to you complain and moan, because we're all human, right? There's nothing wrong with complaining and moaning. But after you've complained and moaned, it goes back to that basic necessity of you can still do this business, because it just requires the prospecting. It solves 99% of your problems in this business. So we have Teamworks meetings, we have meetings with wealth engineers all the time. And they're allowed to complain to us. We're the only people you're allowed to complain to. Do you know that? You can come to my office and to Brendan's office, you can go speak to Jane, and you can complain as much as you want. You can't complain to your first point. That's not allowed. You're only allowed to complain up. There's a rule at Viewpoint. You're allowed to complain up, you're not allowed to complain down. And when you can complain to us, and we hear everything, I'm not earning enough. What do you think we tell those people? Go connect more people. I'm not growing fast enough. What do you think the answer is? Go connect more people. My first pointers aren't doing anything. Isn't that the most frustrating one? I brought in all these people, they want to be rich, but they're not doing anything. Go connect more people. My channel's not growing. 2017 was great. Right? I jumped to this amount of money that I was earning every month, my channel size, but now I've hit this plateau. What do you think the answer is? Go connect more people. People aren't paying. That little app I downloaded on my phone just comes up with a red in the live stream. Debit orders bouncing left, right, and center. It's depressing. What's the answer? There we go. Just keep prospecting. Connect more people. It solves 99% of the problems in your channel. It is a truth that you have to take into your heart. Because what I'm telling you now is true. I'm not just telling you so that I can give you a dev seminar on simplifying this business. It is the honest truth. In this business, you have to keep building your first point. You will never get away from that fact. If you go through a month where you don't build your first point, it's a month that you've lost in this business, right? You will go backwards. So the number one task is always connect people. All right. It leads me on to another principle called the slight edge. Now the slight edge, so here's the description. Simple tasks compounded have life-changing results. That's the beauty of being able to distill a process or to simplify a process, is that it becomes a simple task. And anyone can do a simple task. The problem, the lie that we sometimes tell ourselves, is that something that is simple can be done by everyone, and if everyone isn't wealthy, there's no value in the simple task. Does that make sense? But I'm telling you now that the value in a simple task is being able to compound that task. It is the ability to do that task over and over and over again. And that is what separates great people from the mundane. It is not the task, right? Everyone can go speak to somebody. It is the ability to speak to someone constantly. Never give up. Month after month after month. That is where the value in that task lies. So that's what the slight edge is. It's a principle. It's a book written by a guy, I think his name's Jeff Olson. To expand on that principle, to explain it a little more to you. One balloon on its own can lift pretty much nothing. It can maybe lift the string that's tied to it, but that's about it. But if you connect a few more balloons, and a few more balloons, 100 balloons, 1,000 balloons, you can airlift a polar bear off a mountain. That's supposed to be funny. Everyone's looking at me like, what's this got to do with Dew Point? I know it's cold, but that's the funny slide, guys. That's my only funny slide in the presentation. Right? That's the point, is that you can look at something that is simple on its own that seems to not have any value. But the moment you compound it, you repeat it, it can have massive effect. Massive effect. Small daily investments lead to big results. Do you believe that? So there's the author. Jeff Olson, author of The Slight Edge. Go read it. It's a great book. Right? He expands on this principle. A simple step compounded can finish any race. You know, I like to always make these sports analogies. Think of Comrades Marathon. What is it made up of? Who here can run 90 kilometers? I know Irina's husband can do it, no problem. Who can run 90 kilometers? What is the 90 kilometers made up of? Steps. Who can take one step? Donnie's the only one who says he can take one step. Right? Every single person in this room has the ability to take one step. Do you know what that means? Every single person in this room can do Comrades Marathon. If you want to. If you want to. Some people are like, you must be joking, I'm never going to do that race. Right? But that's the principle of the slight edge. Okay? Translated into our business, a simple connection compounded can make you wealthy. There is no value, or very little, actually I'm going to say there's no value in connecting one person to Dew Point. Right? It's neither here nor there. Even two people, pretty much no value. But if you keep doing that, if you do 2 people a month, on average, in 2 years you'll be close to 30,000 Rand a month. In 5 years you'll be earning an extra R1 million a year over and above your salary. I get everyone excited in the intro presentation. I say, imagine coming to Dew Point just after Christmas, because that's when we're suffering the most. You come to Dew Point and we write out a R1 million check for you to take home. We can distill that result into the simple task of connecting a single person. And I know everyone in this room and everyone in Dew Point has the ability to connect one person. And if I know that you can connect one person, I know you can get to R1 million. We're going to get to the problems, though, shortly, right? But that's the principle about the slight edge. It is a very powerful principle. Remember, the value lies in the ability to do the task repetitively, not in the task itself, right? That's where we get lost, because we look at other people and we go, well, anyone can do this, right? So why is there value in it? Sometimes smart people, or people that think they're smarter than other people, trip themselves up on exactly what we're talking about now. They think they have to do it differently to be successful. Because surely everyone in this room is not doing it the best way. I'm very bright. I can figure out a way to do it better. Wrong. It is wrong. It is the ability just to do that task repetitively. Do not think that you can do this business differently to anybody else. The secret is outlasting everybody else. That's where the secret lies. Repetition creates the master. You can go speak to anyone that's been involved in business and sport. They will tell you exactly that. Right? Gary Player. I heard this quote long ago. I love the quote. The harder I practice, the luckier I get. Because when you keep repeating this task, it might seem mundane, but what it does is it opens you up to opportunity. Because you're on the field. The moment you quit, you're off the field and you close yourself to opportunity. Right? So remember when Brendan speaks about that golden ratio, he calls it something else. I always call it the golden ratio. When you go out and you speak to 100 people, how many people are going to say no to you? 65, remember? You only get about 35% of people that say yes, right? So we kind of look at that as an average, an industry norm. So imagine you went out and you knocked on 65 doors, and every person that opened the door said no to you. You were just really unlucky. The first 65 all said no. The difference between someone that can outlast that negative feeling and someone who can't is that the person that can will knock on the 66th door. And the person that can't will turn around and walk away. And that 66th door might be that person that goes rank 9 in 5 months. That one person will bring 1,000 people into your channel and increase your earnings by 20,000 Rand a month. Repetition. It's all about the repetition. Another quote by Zig Ziglar. Repetition is the mother of learning, the father of action, which makes it the architect of accomplishment. You might think a simple task is a task that you cannot learn from. That is a mistake again. You can look at any task and go, anyone can do that. Right? But when you do it repetitively enough, you start to understand the nuances that can make you an expert in that task. Don't think at the beginning, anyone can do this, and when you start that you'll never get better at doing it. There is so much room for improvement, even on a simple task. The danger of simple is that because it's so easy to do, it's also so easy not to do. That's the mistake we make, right? Oh, if I skip this whole week, if I don't do any prospecting this week, it's not the end of the world. It's easy to make that decision, isn't it? We just think, next week I'll do it. I'll catch up next week. There's a lot of danger in that process when you decide to compromise what you should be keeping yourself accountable to. Because the downward spiral is always waiting to catch somebody. The downward spiral works like this. You join a system, right? Whether it's DewPoint or any other business, there's lots of ways to make money in South Africa from an entrepreneurial perspective. We think DewPoint is the best system in the country, if not the world. But you join a system. You start working the system, right? They tell you, this is how you're going to make money in the system. And you agree, and you go, right. I can see some other, I'm right here. You don't have to look at the thing on YouTube. Right? You can look at other people and go, okay, people are working the system, let me start working the system. And what happens is that you run into difficulty. And I guarantee you will run into difficulty. Doesn't matter what system you're part of. I guarantee it. And what happens from there? You decide to stop working the system. Because in your mind you go, what I'm doing is not working. My channel hasn't grown in 3 months. What I'm doing is not working. You suddenly believe that prospecting or connecting people is not working for you. You become a deer in the headlights and you're not sure what to do. The people that you're bringing into your business aren't paying or they aren't growing. Right? You start to lose belief in yourself and the system. And so you stop working the system. Then you have a choice. You can blame the system or you can blame yourself. And guess what 99% of the people do? Human nature. I've never heard anyone come to me and go, you know what? It's my fault. It's my fault. They blame us. We hear them on the phone to Brendan. Sometimes they come into the office. They blame us. If only you changed that. If only you did that. If only it worked this way, then it wouldn't have failed. Right? So you blame the system. And what happens when you blame the system? Your need doesn't go away. You still have the need to create money. You still want to become wealthy. And so you join another system. And then what happens? Rinse and repeat. Right? You go through the same process. It is a dangerous downward spiral. It begins with you telling yourself that what you're doing, that simple, mundane task of connecting people, is no longer working. Why would it suddenly change? You were able to bring 3 people into the business. Why suddenly has it stopped working? It is not the system. It is life. It is life. You have to accept it. Think about your marriage. Has your marriage just been sailing the whole way? Right? Those of you who are married, I know because I go to marriage counseling once a month. Something I'm working on. I've got to work on it. Proud to say it. Right? It changes constantly. 1 minute you think your marriage is looking good, and the next there's another curveball, and there's a problem and a disagreement, right? It is life. You have to accept it. The Dew Point business, your channel is going to do this constantly. When it's going through the dip, do you change your belief? You don't? I'm going to take a photo of all of you. So you agreed that you wouldn't change your belief, right? Guys, it is so important to have self-awareness in that moment. Self-awareness is so important because what happens is that you can feel that. There's nothing wrong with having the emotion of despair. There's nothing wrong with that. But what you have to do, and whether it is us that does it for you, right? So you can be feeling horrible, you can be frustrated, that is going to be expected. And you can come to head office, you can phone us on the phone, and you can say, oh, my channel's doing this, right? You can complain upwards. We will tell you the truth. You always need someone to tell truth to you. Because otherwise, if you don't, you will get sucked into that downward spiral, right? And it is the same in any aspect of life. I know it in my marriage. I know it as a parent, right? You start telling yourself things. And you can get sucked away. You need friends and people around you to counsel you all the time through those difficult times. And this is a business about collaboration. We want to all be successful. And we can all be successful. It's not like being in work when the word retrenchment starts floating around the office and now the person sitting next to you is your enemy, right? Retrench him before me. He takes 10 smoke breaks a week, right? In this business, we collaborate. We're here to pin you up. When you go through the dip, make sure you don't lie to yourself. It is not about you. It's not about the system. It is just life. All right? The lesson, don't ever quit. When we set goals for ourselves and the times start getting tough, do we compromise the goal? If you want to get to whatever it is, 30,000 Rand after 3 years or 5 years or whatever it is, and you start going along, right? And you're doing maybe 3-4 people a month, and then suddenly it gets difficult. You go through a month where you can't get people to join. But you go, okay, let me bring that 30,000, let me push it out a little. Let's maybe make it 6 or 7 years. Or do you just work harder? What did the slide say that said when you run into problems, what's the answer? Connect more. If you run into problems, you push harder, right? Too many people collapse before the finish line. You compromise on what you want from life. I'm telling you, we stop compromising on our goals. If you want to get to 30,000 Rand a month by a certain time, we're going to get you there. When you run into tough times, you push harder. And you push harder again, and you push harder again. You don't give up before the line. When you get to the line, you can fall down. Make sure you never compromise on your goals. Right? That's the lesson. Make it simple. We make it simple for you. The entire Dew Point system has been simplified for you to focus on connecting. Look at the process, right? This is the process. You connect someone, they're exposed to a Dew Point intro presentation, they sign up, right? Or they leave, doesn't matter, right? But that's generally the process. Who's in charge of each step? You're in charge of step 1. Brendan and myself are in charge of step 2. And the system on its own, the one that we invested in and spent millions on, takes care of step 3. The beauty of that is that you only have to focus on one step out of the 3 to become wealthy in this business. Focus on it. It is a step that you control. In the morning, I would love to phone every wealth engineer and say, do not forget about Dew Point today. You make sure you speak to 3 people. Right? Imagine I could phone every single one of you every morning. Good morning, it's Rob, your wake-up call. So, what are you doing today? Right? Wouldn't that be nice? No. It is a step, unfortunately, you control. I'm not here to micromanage you. Control that step, right? You do have control over it. That's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. You know in your mind the system is designed so that you can control whether your business is growing or not. Not us. Brendan and myself, when we do step 2, do we do it every single time we say we're going to do it? Do we do it with the same energy every single time that we do it? Right? You can rely on us. The system, is the system always up? 99.999% of the time, because it was down a little bit, but maybe 1 or 2 hours in 2 years. But again, it's a system that you can rely on. It's a system that you can use at any time of the day, anywhere in the country. You only have to worry about step 1. Keep yourself accountable to it, right? Like I said, I can't call you every morning. That is a decision that you have to make for yourself when you wake up in the morning. I want you to replace frustration with energy to go out and connect people. All you have to do is watch Carte Blanche or listen to 702. Get angry, and then turn that anger into prospecting. You can do that on a daily basis. 702 is around 24 hours a day, right? Replace that energy. It can be frustrating. I know. My wife was talking to me. She said she hasn't gotten a raise in 3 years in her business, right? She's complaining that her salary is now, 15% less because of inflation than what it was. That is what we all experience. All of us, our salaries are devaluing every single year because we're not getting the increases, right? Because of the economy, because of this, because of that. You can complain about everything. Keep yourself accountable to one step in your life, one decision in your life that can make a difference. Time is money. Do you want more money? Spend more time prospecting. It's as simple as that. It is such a simple equation. You don't have to worry about anything else in this business, and it is so easy to communicate this principle to your first point. Because when a brand new person that you've gone out and prospected watches an intro presentation, they go, yes, I want to be a wealth engineer. And you're like, yes. Try not to show them any tears because you're so happy, right? The simplest thing that you can communicate, or the only thing that you have to communicate to the person is, right, let's get you earning. Go out and find 3 people. And that's all you have to tell them. You don't have to tell them a single other thing, except for maybe how to find the intro presentation, and that's it. You don't have to tell them anything. That makes your job of supporting your first pointers so easy, right? Such a simple process. Remember, actions speak louder than words. You can go out and tell your first point, this business is so simple and straightforward. Go out and find 3 people. That's your first task. Just go do that. Find 3 people to join this business, right? And that'll get you going. But at the same time, you can't be sitting on your bum doing absolutely nothing while you're telling your first point to work. Lead by example. They want to see you prospecting. They want to see you prospect through the difficult times, the hard times. You'll never complain to them. You'll come complain to us, but they will see that you push through, right? Become a prospecting ninja. In the 80s, everyone wanted to be a ninja. Do you remember the 80s? Right? Ninjas were popular in the 80s. Become a prospecting ninja. Develop a hunger for names. So when you start prospecting, I promise you, you will get better at prospecting, right? We will do a whole development seminar just on prospecting. But find names. You need to have a hunger for names because that's where it begins. Family, friends, and acquaintances will run out in the first month. You will start asking other people for names. Go speak to the experienced wealth engineers. They know all the tricks to getting names, right? I speak to someone and say, sir, you interested? I know you're struggling a bit. Your wife got retrenched. Come see the Dew Point presentation. He goes, no. I said, maybe some of your friends will like the presentation. Give me some of your friends' names, right? Develop a list that never runs out. Never runs out, because then you'll never have an excuse to stop prospecting. Talk to people and connect them to Dew Point. You have to bring them to us so that Brendan and myself can do our jobs. If you stop prospecting, I'm going to get retrenched. Right? I don't want that. Connect them to us. Right? We make it easy again. You can jump onto YouTube any time of the day, anywhere around the world, and watch an intro presentation. Come to head office if you want to watch it live. Right? Buy a USB stick. If you're out where there's no internet connection, if you don't want to use data, buy the USB stick. Our intro presentations are there. Simple process.
No, look, you still got to do every day, you've got to meet a prospect. Every day you've got to stick your hand out and say hello. That's got to be constant. That's like your heartbeat. If you're not doing that daily, you're not building a network. I can tell you right now, if you're not meeting people daily or saying hello to someone, to strangers on a daily basis, you're dead. Okay. So if you just take that as a tip, because if you get that right, you're going to make a lot of money in Dew Point.
Wow! We've got a wealth engineer that knows the principle. Right? Don Lannon, very experienced at networking and very successful at networking. If you meet Don, he can talk about anything. He'll talk about food, business, it doesn't matter, right? He's got a wonderful rapport with people and always smiling. Do you know how you hide the wrinkles on your face? Smile. It hides the wrinkles. I've learned to do that now that I'm 40. Wonderful lesson from Don. So are you going to be a thriving forest or an arid desert? It's not desert, it's desert. But you don't want to be either. You don't want to be an arid desert either. No one likes that. Because that's the decision we're going to have to make every single morning. It's such a simple task, right? Do not get stuck on that task. It is the most single important task at Dew Point, over and above everything in the Dew Point forest. Do not worry about the XP Rewards program. You don't have to worry about the qualifying rules. You don't have to worry about points. You don't have to worry about anything. Make sure you got the prospecting down, and that you can commit to keeping yourself accountable to prospecting regularly. Repeat, repeat, repeat. You will get better at it and better at it. Better, 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 better. Wealthier, 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 wealthier to your goal. So what are we going to do this year? Connect people. Connect people. Right? When people join in your channel, it's exactly the same thing you're going to tell them. You just have to connect people. I see people come out of these meetings after the intro presentation, and they come out and they go, what do I do now? What have you guys been discussing for the last half hour? Right? It is simple. You don't have to burden a brand new person in this business. Let me tell you, the majority of people, and we know this, right? So Brendan will explain to you. You speak to 100 people, 65% will say no, 35% will say yes, and out of the 35%, maybe 10% will do anything. Right? So if you know that, if you know the majority of people that even join this business are not going to do anything, why do you have to put pressure on yourself to try to tell them everything about Dew Point? If you can get more people just to start connecting one or two people, it'll turn your business around. And so it's a very simple task. And so I ask everyone watching this, and this is going to be on YouTube, so maybe thousands of people that are going to end up watching it over the next week, keep yourself accountable to this process. If you want to take it a step further, go read Jeff Olson's book, The Slight Edge, right? Entrench yourself in this belief that all you have to focus on in this business is the ability to just connect people. Nothing more, nothing less. Do we have that commitment? I'm going to take a photo of you guys. Why would we want to do that? Why would we want to repeat the same process over and over and over again? This task of connecting people to Dew Point. Even in 10 years' time, in 20 years' time, I'm going to be saying to you, you're going to have been in Dew Point for 20 years, and my message to you, when you come complain in my office, about, oh, I don't know about Dew Point anymore. You know, I've got this channel sitting at 20, 30,000 products in my channel, but it's been plateauing for the last 6 months. What do you think my answer is going to be? Exactly. I'm going to pull out a spreadsheet and look at how many people you've personally connected in the last few months. And I'm going to say, you need to prospect more. That is going to be my answer today and in 20 years' time to everybody in the room, right? Just go out and connect more people. We have to remind ourselves why we're doing it. It is a daily decision, and that's the difficulty. It is a daily decision. We get distracted by the mundane runnings of life. You got to get to work. You got to worry about work. You might have kids. For me, we've just bought a puppy. Never buy a puppy if you've got kids, right? It's like going from 2 kids to 5 kids now with a puppy. Right? So we have the burden on everyday life. You have to keep yourself accountable. And there are different things that you can do to help you keep yourself accountable. Right? We've got lots of guides, but that's a different development seminar. What I want you to take away from this is that you need to keep yourself accountable to the simple daily task. If you can do this on a daily basis, I promise you, I guarantee you, you will get to any goal that you want to get to. I guarantee you, right? The problem is we skip days, we skip weeks. We get into a funk and we believe that the system's not working. I want 2018 to be a year that changes everybody's lives, not just 5% of us. If it's just 5%, then I'm going to ask all the rows beyond the first row to get out. Go home now, because we're wasting our time. Let's all do this, because we can all do it. That's my hope for you. At the end of this year, I want to see wealth engineers beaming with pride and with money in their bank accounts. And so the simple little task I ask you, try to keep yourself accountable to it. We incentivize you along the way to make it easier, right? So that you get excited by 10,000 Rand that you can earn possibly at the end of almost every month, whether it's 5,000 Rand, TVs, iPhones, iPads, 10,000 Rand. There's always something every month that will reward you for doing extra work in the month. And so I remind you about our You in the Army now. How many people are chasing this quest? Guys, is waiting for you. The 10,000 Rand is on the table. I can smell it. Fresh money. We give you fresh money, not the second-hand money. So we all know what this quest is, right? The ability to rank up in the XP Rewards program for you and the people in your channel. You should make the people in your channel aware of this immediately. Everybody should be hanging onto their email on the first day of every month, waiting for that wealth quest to come out to see what am I going to be doing in the next 30 days. For our more experienced wealth engineers from the rank 4s upwards, they had a 25,000 Rand incentive over the last 3 months. How many of my rank 4s and above are going to come complain to me and tell me this was too hard? And what will I say to them? You should have connected more people, right? That's the beauty of our system. I can look at exactly how active you are. That XP that you earn every day, I can see exactly how active you are, right? It's so easy to keep yourself accountable. 25,000 Rand, at least 6,000 Rand in recurring income would increase just doing this process. Wouldn't you like an extra 31,000 Rand halfway through June? This XP quest ties into this. At the beginning of May, every single rank 2, 3, and 4 should have said to their first pointers, chase the 10,000 Rand. It'll help me get the 25,000 Rand. You should have seen that. On the 1st of June, guess what happens? Brand new wealth quest and more opportunity. Every month there's opportunity. We reward you all the time. I'm hoping this will serve as an inspiration to you every single morning. That's why we do these things, right? It's like a kick in the pants. Sometimes we need a kick in the pants. Merchandise. Merchandise, I remind everybody, empowers you in this business. We don't make money off the merchandise, right? Make sure you have business cards. Who thinks this business is completely for free? Mahala. No one? Good. Because you have to invest in yourself and this business if you want to make it work. We get an order, let's see. So we have a few thousand people joining constantly every month. Out of the few thousand, we probably have about 20 orders of business cards a month. That's less than 1% of the people ordering business cards. Is there so much lack in the faith of this business that you're unwilling to invest in this business and yourself? Guys, the moment someone joins this business, make sure they get business cards. You can put pressure on them, right? The USB sticks, you know all the merchandise. Make sure that you have it. We've got notepads that we're designing at the moment because people come ask Jane for paper constantly. So we're going to get nice, cheap notepads made. Not cheap, but they're going to look good. They're not going to look cheap, but they're cost-effective so that people can start taking notes down on a Dew Point notepad. So we're always thinking about you. The moment you become qualified, did everyone get the movers and shakers email this week? Did you see it? Did you see all the people that ranked up, right? All those people should have come to buy a pin. How many people are qualified here? How many people? Don't be shy. You should be proud to be qualified. How many people are wearing their pins? See, if it was the 80s, I could have brought a stick with me to training. Guys, make sure you get the pin. That pin shows people that you're earning in this business, right? It becomes so important. Not for the strangers that you don't know at Dew Point. It doesn't matter to them. The people that it matters to most are the people that look up to you, the people in your channel. And if you're a person that becomes qualified and you're not even bothering to buy a pin that show people that you're earning money in this business, right? You communicate that to your first pointers. Make sure you get that pin. There it is. The moment you become rank 1, you get that pin and wear it. Maybe it'll add pressure to you to get to rank 4. Because you go from that little pin to one of these babies. Then people think you're a millionaire when you got that big pin on, right? Make sure you get the pin. Put pressure on the people on your first point. The moment they become qualified, that's the phone call you make. Your app will tell you when they become qualified. You phone them and say, awesome, you're earning. You're earning. Now we're going to get you a pin. Bring your money. We're going to get you a pin, right? It's about entrenching people into this business. Tell All Tuesday on Tuesday. Very exciting. I love Tell All Tuesdays. Don't you enjoy Tell All Tuesdays? We don't prep those guys. We never know what they're going to say, right? So exciting to hear testimony, and we've got some very experienced wealth engineers coming up. And also very exciting because Patrick and Pumi are going to come up, and we are going to look back at the last 2 years in Patrick and Pumi's journey here at Dew Point. So on Tuesday, you have got an exceptional opportunity to come see the workings of Dew Point, the success of Dew Point, right? That'll help your channel. Make sure everyone tunes into this. You don't have to come here. Make sure you tune into it. Your entire channel around the country, make sure that they watch Tell All Tuesday on Tuesday because it is so powerful watching testimony of people that are actually doing the business. Guys, our training is done. To summarize, what are we going to be doing? Connecting people. You're already connecting people. How many times are you going to connect people? On a daily basis. I'm taking a photo of that man. On a daily basis. Guys, you have to realize that this simple task, this is where the confusion happens, right? I see it all the time. In the intro presentation, I can get to the last slide of the path to success and tell people that they can become millionaires with regards to recurring income over and above their salaries. And I can see people's faces. They don't believe me. They don't. How many people in this room honestly believe that you can get to 100,000 Rand a month in recurring income in a flexi-time job that requires no qualifications or experience? How many people honestly believe that they're going to get there? How many people have set that as a goal? Anything in life starts with belief. I'm telling you that right now. If you have doubt in your mind, right? That's okay. You're allowed to have doubt. We're human, guys. I'm not telling you that if you have doubt in your mind that you can't do it. It starts with doubt. You cannot have belief without the doubt. Right? It starts with the doubt. But then you need to develop the belief. You need to say to yourself, this is what I want. My circumstances and the people around me do not dictate what I think I deserve in life. And that's when you develop the belief. It requires you to be vulnerable and courageous to have that belief. Who are you to say you deserve 100,000 Rand a month in recurring income? That's quite cheeky. Right? That's what other people will tell you. When you start earning an extra 100,000 Rand a month, what do you think a lot of the people around you in your life will start thinking about? It's not all good. It's not all good, right? And so you have to be courageous to want that, to believe that you deserve it. Because once you have that belief, you can then tag this accountability of this simple task onto your life for you to get there. So I want you to re-examine your belief system again. I spoke about it at our awards conference. Go watch that video on YouTube. You can manipulate your belief system. Did you know that? If you repeat to yourself enough times and you start thinking and imagining what you want in life, you can get to there. You can change your belief system where you'll change to the point where you go, damn right, I'm going to get 100,000 Rand a month. I'm not quitting until I do. That's when you believe you deserve it. When you don't quit until you get there. So I want to see people in this room do it. Right? It starts today. How many months do we have left of 2018? It doesn't start in 2019. It starts today. Today, guys. Some of you will get to rank 9 by the end of the year. I don't know who it's going to be. I have no idea, right? But let's make it happen. So I wish you the best of luck. I hope that you have a weekend that you've prospected more than any other weekend in 2018. Who's going to prospect this weekend? Don't lie to me. You're going to prospect this weekend. Prospect this weekend. Every day. Good luck. We're here to support you. Right? We're here to help you. We're going to start the intro presentation shortly. Thanks, Tim. Guys, go get your prospects. Let me work them. Have a good weekend.